much involved in bookings for the past months, and today is the day we're launching everything. And I just wanted to show you what we've been doing. And I was thinking on how to present this, like should I just go bland and like present what we have, the new architecture. But then I thought of everything that we've done, all the people who I've worked with to do this, and I kind of like, okay, let's put it in the story mood, and this is how it goes. So in the beginning, I was asked to take a look at bookings, like just go there and see what's happening there, and this is what happens. Like I was like, cool, let's just take a look at bookings, and then very fast I discovered it was like a big, fucked up, messy, cool team to play with. I sort of understood that this is going to be massive, and then because of this, now I can tell you the story of how everyone here at Uniplaces changed the booking scene for good from today on, and you don't even notice. So I guess I want to touch points on how did this happen. Okay, so what was the approach? So to change the booking scheme and to understand how it works, I had to be an agent. So that's what I was doing for the first week. I was an agent, I was doing calls, I was doing bookings. But most importantly, I was talking with the agents, I was seeing why were they living happy one day and happy the other day. What were the things they would not tell me but that they would like to tell me? Why would they go up to the coffee more often than they would go to somewhere else? What would they discuss in the smoke breaks? Sort of like a friendly spy, let's call it like this. And I understood a lot of things that I couldn't do it if I didn't create the empathy in the beginning. And I was pretty much not attached to the booking before, so it's kind of an interesting process. And I understood a lot of stuff, strange processes. How do they send calls from each other? Why do they have post-it notes? Why do they stand up? Why the fuck do they close the booking and go to the wall and put something with a pen? Like why are they counting their bookings in the wall? I mean, we have computers. And I was thinking on a lot of stuff. And then I was just incomplete because I was missing something else. So I got a relation within the team, and I understood some processes. But then I had to be a team lead as well. So I asked permission for that, and I was pretty involved with how do they talk with other teams? How do they talk with each other? How do they report stuff? Are they paying attention to numbers? What is the relation between bookings and the other teams? Why is it not working? And I tried to understand this through the bookings team leads, through the bookings agents, but also through everyone else. And I got a lot of interesting insights as well. So then, cool, I got the empathy part, I started drafting stuff. So I identified some problems. This is going to be a nugget slide, okay? These are problems I identified. So first of all, there was no clear tracking. We didn't know exactly what was happening, okay? This is like, it's unclear. How many bookings are you closing? How many bookings is she closing? What are the targets? Are you calling more and why? Are the quality good? Are the quality of the calls good or not? Okay, cool, one problem. Then there was no accountability, so we wouldn't know what was happening in each market, in each agent, in each team lead. So the meetings were kind of like unproductive. Talking with other teams was kind of difficult. Cool, okay. Then there was a lot of strange processes. A lot of time-consuming processes like closing a booking, going to put it in the wall, hang out for 5 minutes with some guy I don't see for 2 days. By the way, I'm standing up, went to go to the bathroom. Oh, there's a coffee machine. Yeah, it's time for a cigarette. And then I'm not closing bookings. And there was a lot of strange stuff. And then, we also had a lack of a pipeline management frame of mind, so we would look at the lead, but not in the sense that I would want to take this student out in the funnel to make a booking request. It's kind of like loose, we'd approach a lead someday, another lead some other day, with no right approach. So it's kind of strange to me at the beginning. There was no lead prioritization, and this was a big thing at the time, I remember this, and I'll go more into this in a bit. The talk desk structure and the way we were dealing with the phone was not reaching the potential. Like, people here are like really, really good. You have no idea on how cool the booking scene is, but they were just not fostering their potential. And one of the things I saw was the talk desk. And I remember Pedro screaming from the upper floor, down floor, Francisco, what the fuck, look at the phone, look at the phone. And I kind of like, okay, cool, I got it. Phone is an important thing. Next. There was a high missed call rate. More on this in 7 minutes. There was a strange way of doing stuff. So I think at the time we were about 17 agents, and I found more or less 120 gazillion billion processes. Because not only there was one for each, there was one for each per day or per hour. Like it was like Texas. Okay, so when I was mapping out the processes, I ended up with a big book full of exclamation marks and I need to look at this. Why is this happening? Cool. So this is what happens when this lead comes. I go to another agent with the same market, and it was just random, completely different. So I thought, okay, the process is like an important thing. There was no pitch, uniformization, or an approach per lead. I couldn't find any trend there. There was a lot of strange macros being used, and the agents would do a lot of stuff like, I know this is wrong, let me just correct this, solve the ticket. Another macro. Oh, this is like so outdated, let me just change this. But they wouldn't change the macros because like they wouldn't have editing rights or they would have no time to do that or even empowerment to change the macros. Another problem. It's getting ugly, I know. There was an internal cannibalization and overlapping processes. So we would send a confirmation email even though the product was sending a confirmation email after the booking was accepted. We're also replying to the leads that were in automation. So they were kind of confused, like I'm talking to Rita, but at the same time I'm talking to Amaral, what the fuck is this, who are these guys? So it was strange. And there was also like a strategic overview from the team outside in the same yellow. Cool. So these were kind of my insights at the beginning, and I told you, this was my idea of the booking scene. I thought it would be like a 2-week project, and it was not. So I knew, okay, for the first problems, I think the approach would be, maybe if you change tools, or the way you use them, and if we bring more on the data culture for the team, we might tackle these problems. We might tackle like, why do they don't care about Talkdesk or the phones coming? Maybe if they know the impact of this, and maybe if they have reports on Talkdesk and they can access them, maybe they wouldn't accept it. Okay? For the second batch of problems, I thought, okay, maybe the tools architecture is not ideal. We can actually help that. And the training and coaching and being one-on-one with the agents would also help a lot. And this was not happening a lot. For the last problems, it was clear. Strategic alignment. So I had to make the bridge between bookings and the other teams. And I had to take the voice of what is happening within bookings to make sure it's aligned with everyone else. Top. So now I had this batch of problems. So I knew I had to go and take a look at what tools are we using, what is the architecture, bring on more data-driven culture and start looking at numbers, train stuff, like train everything I can, and then try to sort out the strategic side of it. That was better already, okay? I knew what I had to do, so I started asking for help, because there was no idea I would do this alone, okay? And I asked help to everyone, even without asking. And this is the coolest part, because what you're seeing now, rolling out today, is everyone's job. It's super interesting, this. So what is the process for improvement that we've done here? So I started to have ideas. There was about a week, you saw me with my headphones, I had like Miles Davis playing, I was like away from everyone, and I was just drafting stuff in the hole. And I was not there. I couldn't make it because I was still, with no pipeline management overview in my head, I wouldn't take a look at the lead as a lead. I was confused. So the processes I was drawing were more like, okay, how would be a process per type of context? If someone calls, if someone sends a site message. But I was not looking at the lead as a whole, so I was very, very confused. Okay? And there was one day that Julie called me. He just wrote me something like, Francisco, can you come up here? I have something to show you. Just don't show it to everyone just now because I think this is somehow powerful. And when I was up, there was this, like for me, it was like the famous Julio table. This went viral within the booking scene because it's super interesting. What you see here, not going into detail, is that if agents actually call and inquire availability, for example, they have an increase of 300%, more or less, of an impact of a lot from taking these leads as a sign-up or an inquirer to do a booking request. Same goes for if the guy sends a message, more than 100% impact of having someone calling. So I understood something. One, I understood that the phone was actually quite important, and Pedro was actually trying to tell me this for quite a while. This is one. Calling has a great impact. And then the lead prioritization was all wrong. And this is the day I got the idea of, if we take a look at a lead, as a whole lead, and we want to take it down the funnel until the booking request, then this would change. And then I started having ideas. This was super cool. Except that the fact that Julie showed me something that didn't allow me to sleep for 2 days. So I was like, okay, let's call. And I was obsessed with calling, and we should really call. But sometimes there's like, it's not call, we can call, like this guy. Hey, unfortunately I can call since I'm deaf, maybe we can just do it with email. And I was like, okay, cool, so it's not only phone. So maybe we need to put a process for email as well. So we keep Zendesk. Okay, cool. So we're trying to think on new ways to approach these problems. And one of the things I wanted to do right away was, okay, let's put on some talk desk metrics. Let's see how phone is going. And this day I also didn't sleep, but because of the revealing of the data. Okay, at this date, this is around late May, we had a 45% of missed call rates. Okay, this means that half of the people that call us don't get to be picked up. Okay, super frustrating. This went on Trustpilot, on our reviews, and I was very worried about this. Okay, so then I started thinking, cool. We look at the lead as a whole. We have phone, it's super important. They should look at this data as well. And I started showing them. And then I thought, okay, but mail is also important because there are people that just can't, they can't talk. Cool. All right. Then the another thing was like, okay, let's look at the leads prioritization. And with the data that Julius sent me, I then sat down with the marketing team and with the bookings team as well. And we were like, okay, cool. So the leads prioritization is all wrong. Let's just change it. I changed it. I was so happy. I sent an email all pretty, like, these are the leads prioritization, this and that. It was a total fail. And then I understand that to make changes on a team that is like more than 20 people, has like old processes, strange architecture on Zendesk, it's not going to happen. Okay? And then I understood. This day I understood that I was not making changes like softly. I need to change some stuff. And it was not going to be easy. Okay? So I thought, okay, cool. So how can we have the prioritization embed in the processes that they're using? And I didn't know. I really didn't know. So I just kept on thinking. Then the next day, what happens is that Xavier from the product team, he lent me this book. It's called Design for Interaction, and I just read it in 2 days. I found it like really fascinating. I was really going into design thinking approach and getting empathy with the team. But then this book actually taught me something, which was that a system architecture has a massive impact on how people use it. Okay? If the system is natural, it's good to use, it's easy, it sounds good, people will just use it smoothly. Everything goes okay. And when I look at this, and I look at the theory in this book, and then I look at how things were going in Zendesk, I could see where we were. Okay, we were far away from the ideal world. But this really got me paying attention to, cool, but so if we actually change Zendesk in a way that it didn't know how it would be, we might have solved the prioritization, the lack of processes, the focus problems. So I kind of started drafting again how it would be that the system would help the agents to work instead of the other way around. Okay? Why would they go around the system and have mini hacks and tricks instead of the system giving them the hacks and the tricks so that they could perform better with focus, with prioritization, with no room for fucked up things. Okay? Cool. So this is a very important day for me as well. And it's a really nice book. I'll give you the slides, then you can just take it. It's a really nice read. Then what I did was, cool, we need to change stuff. And I started thinking on talk desk. And I sat down with Tofu, which is the talk desk king. And I said, look, I have these guys. They are just super mad because they are getting calls that they don't want to pick up because they are not from their markets. It's just stupid. I'm doing Portugal. Why would I get an Italy call if I don't even speak Italian? It's okay, cool, that's stupid. Let's call the guys. And we had a meeting with this guy. And Rodolfo just sought out some solution and came back to me saying, look, you need a matrix. And at this time, it was Pedro Roballo, he was here, that he helped me doing this, which was CET had already a sort of a language matrix, and we did the same. So this ugly thing is very simple to read, which says, if I'm an agent and I'm doing the Spanish market, I will get the calls immediately. So I'm top priority. Number 2 is like top priority. If I'm doing Portugal market, here, these guys, I'm getting the Portuguese calls right away. But if I'm doing the Spanish market and no one in the Portugal team is online, if I speak Portuguese, like Miguel and Daniel, they will actually get the call. But look, Eleonora doesn't speak Portuguese that well yet. But she wouldn't receive the calls, right? So we kind of developed this matrix where the relevant calls will go to the relevant agent. And I started telling them, look, if you see the calls coming in, pick them up because they're for you, okay? This means that it's either for your market, or if it's not, it means the guys from the market it's supposed to go to, they're having lunch, playing ping pong, or sleeping, or actually calling. So pick them up. It started to work, but not that much. And then, on this part, Luciana just arrived. And on the day Luciana arrived, I showed her this stuff, and the problems I had in my mind about tokens. And she went like, bam, like working productivity mode, like, this is what I need to do, and she did this like plan for tokens. And we actually started to coach, to bring more numbers, to show why it's important to call. We actually added one more level of prioritization here. We sought out something that Luciano brought was, if I'm talking with someone and that someone calls back like 2 hours later or something, actually within a X minutes range. So I'm called someone, the guy doesn't pick up, he calls back, that call will go to me. So now it's even more relevant. I have a lot of degrees of prioritization. If I call someone and the guy calls back, it's coming to me. So now I know the agents are getting the right calls. There's no excuses. And Luciana starts coaching, starts to give numbers, and then we understand, right? We understand why is this important. And all the bookings team was coming to me saying, oh, fuck, this is cool. Like, look at the missed call rate. And then Tomas put the screens on. I know this was a big thing to have the numbers there, but it's cool because it actually shows everyone why is it important. It's there, it's on the wall. The numbers are there, we can see them. And then we had like, Joanna was updating the reports and helping me out. And then we started like to have transparency on how it did go. And this is what's happening in the last few weeks. So when I look at the numbers, we had a 45 missed call rate. A few weeks, like a week after we dropped 2%, cool, 43%. And I thought like, yeah, okay, cool, working. But then when Luciana came, we had a massive drop. And these are the last weeks, okay? We had a 20% missed call rate. And then we had dropped down to 10. The other day it was 9.5. Yesterday until the end of the day we had 75%. We actually have like everyone out there, so in the booking team, is actually looking at the numbers and saying, look, we can't go up, And we have a target, it's now at 5%, and it's just going there. And with the team capacity that we have, we're actually reaching it, okay? Not only this, but there's a new team structure coming in. And this is Luciana's input, okay? And what she did was like, cool. So they have a lot of stuff to do. I have a lot of stuff to do. The team is increasing to up to 50 people. It's high season, it's gonna be a mess. How can we do this? Okay, and we started to do stuff. Before I was working with HR to develop the Buddies program, and we we're kind of having ideas, how can we coach new people? How can we maintain the knowledge? And what we did was, we want to have someone that can feedback directly to Luciana and be as a point of contact for a specific market. And these people will just raise problems, give feedback, be the brain in the team to do proactive stuff. But most important, to allow everyone in the team to be proactive, to feedback, and to make the team go forward instead of being static or depending on just one person. Okay? What Luciana brought as well was that being a team that does both outbound calls, so I'm reaching out to students and to landlords, but also receiving all the calls that arrive to our phone numbers that are on spam. So there's a lot of calls. This is just strange, okay? And from day one, I saw this was a problem because they were working, and then you have like a massive pop-up saying someone is calling you. There's like, I'm dealing with this ticket, I'm searching shots at the best offer for this guy, boom, like there's a call, and this old lady talking to me, and there's this old booking, and I need to go, and then, fuck, what was I doing? Then I go back, and this was very strange. And what Luciano is doing now is just splitting the team in both inbound and outbound. And what this means is that the inbound team will just do inbound calls, and they rotate. This means that both students or whoever calls is satisfied because they get someone to pick them the call, even if it's like, cool, you want to talk with João, he's just now in some of the call, but I'll get him to go back to you. This is perfect. This is increasing our service levels. And then, not only this, but the person doing outbounds, now this person is focused. There's no strange pop-ups. There's no calls in the middle. So this is, I think, one of the massive changes that's going to happen soon. And it's going to be like interesting to evaluate the impact of this. Cool. So these are the changes we've been doing. But I was actually, in parallel to this, working with a lot of people to do something else, which was, we're trying to change the way the process helps people. Where is PV? PV is not here. PV. What is the phrase you love to say every day I hear you saying this? Say, don't blame. Yeah, don't blame people, blame processes. Or the other way around. It depends on the day. But the idea is that we're actually looking at a lot of potential there, but this was being misused because like the system was really not helping. It was a mess. We did some changes, but they didn't work quite well. So I worked with every single one of you, even when you didn't know we were working. When I was with a lot of young people in Santos, I was collecting feedback. Okay. Some of the changes you just mentioned there, in between Jola and the Sangria, they are here. Okay. And this is what we've come up with. Okay. First, just a mini note. We know we have inbound and outbound leads. And the outbound leads, we just plug them on when we want. But some of them are just cheap and easy. So one thing I work quite close with Julie to do is, why don't we just turn on outbounds and try to make them inbound with zero effort? So what we've done was, we went and turned on OLX and Imo Virtual and Idealista leads, because from the feedback I had, they are easy to do, they're cheap to acquire. But the problem is that all the agents were coming to me saying, look, there's this old guy calling from OLX, he really wants to do viewings, he's not our target. What the fuck, I'm spending time with this guy and I'm not closing the other bookings. And this was very, very important. And we were discussing this and said, okay, let's just put someone that is not someone, like another Rita, dealing with these guys. So what we did was, all the phone numbers on these open portals go to a voicemail, automatic voicemail saying, hey, thanks for calling us, we're Uniplaces, go there and there. If they click the link on the ad, they go to a specific landing page that Julie created, and there you have instructions on, look, go and find the reference on OLX, put it here. It's kind of like, you put the ID, it goes to Uniplaces to the specific offer, and if they like it, they actually see the Uniplaces valid proposition, they sign up, and bam, it's an inbound. And if it's an inbound, then bookings will tackle it. So, we spent a bit of time on this, but now we're making inbound, outbounds to get to inbound with no effort. And I think it was like middle of the night and Julie just sent me this hit chat saying, yeah, look at this, they actually move. And this just was very sticky in my head. Like, that day I went to sleep and I thought, they move. Okay? Look, this is a guy. The guy is on Imo Virtual and he registered. The day after, on Imo Virtual. Okay? And he contacted us. But then he got an automation. And then he actually registered for Portugal. He did a preferences update. And then he replied to the automation email. And by doing this, we're actually having no effort in becoming outbounds in inbounds. And for inbounds, we have bookings. Okay? So first we sorted out this. And then I could, just change focus and think on inbounds. This is what we have. So, as I was saying, we look now at the lead as a whole lead. We take it down the funnel. one thing I'm very, very, very focused on is on showing the bookings team how important it is to be aware of the demand funnel. Oh, we have the bookings in Lisbon. Okay, cool. Why? Are there enough users? Or is it users from sign-up that is the problem? So maybe the stock is the problem. Or is it from sign-up to booking request? Is it you that are not closing well? Or is it the properties that are not good? Or is it from request to booking accepted? And then we need to engage supply better or sort out availabilities. So now they know, or now we know, that saying there are no bookings in Lisbon is not enough. We are more granular. And the numbers are on the screens as well. Okay? And the numbers, this is cool, are Pedro Pereira's numbers. So marketing and bookings, we're talking the same language now. Okay? And this is crucial. It might sound like a detail, but it's important. So, okay, we look at the lead as a unique lead, and we try to push them along the funnel. Cool. So we have an aligned frame of mind with both product and marketing, which was, I think, one of the problems we had at the beginning. Okay? So we now have a demand funnel. We're talking with the same language. We can sit at the table, discuss problems, and go granular on why don't we have bookings in a certain place. Cool. Problem one solved. This is a strategic alignment part. Cool. Then what we have was, once I read that book, I thought the architecture will change. And what I drafted together with everyone was this thing. So we now look at leads on a top-down approach. And this is the way agents will see this on Zendesk. Okay? So you arrive on Zendesk, and you just know you want to go from top down. And what you do is, okay, first I tackle the missed calls. These are guys that called us and they need an answer. Bad. I solved it. Actually, I expect not to have those, too many of those, because Lucian just solved it out. Okay, cool. So then I go into group one and I look at the bookings. If I have booking requests awaiting, this means I need to engage supply. I will pitch this booking to this granny. She needs to accept. Okay, cool. Then I go to the 1.2 view, and this is all coded so that it's easy to train, it's easy to follow, it's easy to talk. How many leads do you have in group 1? How many leads do you have in group 2? It's easy to sit at a table on the leadership and say, look, this is the status for Portugal. No booking requests awaiting, no backlog. But then we have a lot of side messages, blah, blah, blah. So we go in on a top-down approach and we tackle booking requests. Then we tackle prospective bookings. But the cool thing is that we don't tackle all the prospective bookings. And this is where product comes in. And product was just massively incredible on this. I was really not expecting this to go so big. This was the biggest change on Zendesk we ever had since Elizabeth. Okay? So, or before, exactly, I don't know. So, yeah, this was, and the internal tool squad was really all involved in this. Even Match did one ticket on this story. So everyone did something. Okay? So we go on the booking requests, then we follow the perspectives, but we just tackle the perspectives that we want to tackle. So the perspectives go to the landlord. Perspective is a booking that it's almost a booking but no one paid yet. Okay? But product sends a reminder to the student saying, hey, don't miss out, you need to pay. So we don't want to mess up with this. Okay? Ops needs to look at conversion rates and we look at should we go into an e-commerce model or not. So we want to see if they convert along. So we don't tackle them. We don't move. Okay? But 24 hours before the perspectives expire, maybe something's going wrong. Maybe the guy is worried or has a question. So then what product says to us is Chook, this needs attention. And it goes up on this view. And if it needs attention, then it needs attention and the booking team will tackle it. So we're now only tackling leads on the relevant timing, and this will also allow, so Ops is now allowing the product to analyze better conversion rates and funnel approaches and everything. Cool. So we go on a top-down approach. What this means is that the whole views give us the priority, so we don't need to be worried about this. And we go from up to down. We have the leads qualifying themselves. So if I have a guy here that sends me a message and alone he does a prospective booking, I'm not worried about not getting a reply to him because he will go up in the ladder and he'll be here. And as I work top down, eventually I'll reply to him. Oh yeah, but I have so many outbounds. I don't care. If you have so many outbounds, it's still more relevant to reply to the guys that did the sign up and send us a message. So if you work top down, you don't fuck up. And if you have tickets on group number 1, which is bookings, you don't go home. Okay? You only go home until you finish all the group 1 tickets, or at least you control them. And then you go top down. This is really bulletproof on fucking up the process. Okay? It's super interesting because now the architecture itself is giving the agents the priority they needed so much. Cool. This also allows us to track backlog per type of lead, per agent, or per country at the given moment. Okay? So eventually there will be no moments where in an important meeting you want to know what is the status for these leads on that country, and it's the typical now you know it. You just plug on this view and you know it. It's there. 3 tickets. Oh, cool. It's okay. Okay. So we can also take a look at. So in the agent's head, and this is what I think it's interesting, is that what's happening? Cool. Is that on their mind, by following this approach, they also think on what should I do. So here, I need to go back. Here, I need to engage supply. Here, I need to engage demand. Here, I need to keep an eye on these tickets. Here, I need to give the last push to booking. Here, these are highly qualified demand engaged leads that I need to tackle. Blah, blah, blah. So I knew that we could help them. And now it's here, okay? It's a top-down approach. We give them priority. And like on the back of their mind, they know what they need to do on each view. So this is how it's working. This is how they will work. Within a view, we did some cool hacks with product. This now gets more interesting. So what do we do? Inside the view, okay, I have many inquiries. I have gazillion inquiries. Should I tackle these ones first or that ones first? Cool. So you go on the inquiries view, and the default is it's sorted by moving. Okay? We didn't have this before, so it was impossible to do. But now we have it. It's sorted out by moving, so they know I'll tackle the ones that are more urgent before. But even that's not enough, because there might be urgent and half urgent. So what product tells us is this a last minute booking or not? So if we have an inquiry or a site message or a perspective or a booking that is from today with a move-in with less than 3 days, product will flag us saying, whoa, you have missed a last minute booking, so go and tackle this first. So an agent can step in a view, sort by last minute booking, and just tackle the ones that are for tomorrow, for the day after. And then it's another way to prioritize the leads within a view. Not only that, we actually found a way to track the answers. So if the guys reply back and I want to be on top of these leads, I will know them and I can sort out by who replied or not. This is actually a problem identified by being an agent as well. And we know gazillion more stuff. Okay? So this is how it works within a view. There's the full integration with product I was telling you about. So product, and also I was just looking like this, finally he's paying attention to the PowerPoint. Oh yeah, this is my part. So there's a full integration with product finance. So there's a lot of stuff we knew we could have on Zendesk, but we didn't. So now product updates automatically all these things that we need to have to make this work. Okay, so what is the city the guy is playing in? What is the booking status? Blah blah blah. All these things, they're automatic. No hassle for agents, and this allows us to prioritize better. Cool. Also, we did a very interesting work on the information on the ticket that product tells Zendesk. Okay, so within the ticket we had some strange stuff there, but we revised everything until the comma. We revised everything, even the subject that the student will see, so that it is not strange with strange wording, because they're on Gmail. Don't forget that. Okay, so it's got to be relevant. We even changed from booking rejected to booking not accepted, so that it's not so powerful on their minds. So within a ticket, now for the agents, we have, these are the coolest ones I selected, we have the AP phone number. So this means they can call through Zendesk to the AP without going to ops. So we are saving 5 seconds here per ticket, which at the end of the year is some pounds, and we need those pounds now. We know the offer contract type and the cancellation policy. So maybe we should change to euros, I don't know. We know if it's a pre-booked offer or not, or if it's a guaranteed offer, okay, here. What this is telling us is that I'm adapting the pitch, okay? I see you moving on the 16th, I see you moving on the 14th of May for an offer that is like a fortnight, okay, here. Man, I'm adapting the pitch. I'm calling the guy, say, look, just book for the 16th, you'll pay the whole thing, the whole fortnight instead of just those 2 nights, blah, 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 and we're helping them out. So this allows them not only to prioritize, but to adapt the pitch, okay? Same goes with guaranteed offers and pre-booked offers. We know this is a high topic. We're losing money out of this. So you better, work your asses off. If it says yes there, I'm going to push to book. Okay, so this is also telling something to the agents. Okay, a little pause. Actually, I did this yesterday when I was reviewing, and when I got to this slide, it was more or less 4 in the morning. And I got to this slide and I said, fuck, this is massive. It's product work, it's marketing relationship, it's CET insights, it's bookings work. Like everyone said everything that I had to do, I didn't do anything. And when I got to this, I said, like, if this doesn't work, then I won't. Okay? Because there's no excuses now. So we really need to digest the whole work we've been doing here. And moving on. So I remember this day when I got to the office. It was the old office, I think. And I went to Kevin, and his screen was more or less like my place is now. Have you seen the Justin Bieber stuff? All full of posters. And then I went to his table and he saw a lot of post-its. Like, okay, cool. Then I looked down, and there's the booking scene with more post-its. And then I looked left, and there were more post-its. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, wow, why so many post-its? Is this like, I don't know, like design thinking or brainstorming? But it was not. And then I got to see there were more post-its. And I was like, call back at 14, blah, blah, blah. I can't take the dog, I need to tell the student. Call at 12, ticket number something, something. And there were post-its. There were things written in the hands. There were a whole book of stuff. Where is Raquel? I think it's Raquel. She has this massive book with everything from the beginning. Or a lot of agents have these strange books with everything I did from day one, all the follow-ups and everything. And I was looking at this, and I was looking cool. They are organized. They are trying to organize themselves. But I was actually thinking, what a waste of paper and one more old school reminder. And I wouldn't allow Zendesk to not have something to solve this. And I studied a lot. And I went to see 3 years in automations. And I started to code something there, but I couldn't, okay? So then I searched more, and I found this mini app that actually exists already. And what we have now is within a ticket, if I need to tell, I call some AP, and the guy says, look, I'm in Bahamas, but tomorrow at midnight I will really pick up your phone. Or there's a student that says, I'm going into an exam, call me in 5 hours. I can actually, within a ticket, I can put a reminder for the specific date and the specific time. I put a mini description, and then after the exam, I call this guy because I have a pop-up. I don't forget. The service is great. And I actually say, look, how did the exam go? Are you cool? Awesome. Are you going to fail? No, awesome. So then I have great news for you. The book is available. Just book it. And this way, not only we're very allowing them to do a better service, but we're organizing also their heads. This is the last one. Cherry top of the cake. I found something. This is really cool. That will allow us, and this might be good for CT as well. We need to see. We will have auto assignment of this. Okay, there's a robot behind Zendesk, going to all the tickets that arrive to Zendesk to a specific thing I created that will just tackle the leads and will assign them to the right person at the right time. What we have is we can limit the type of tickets we are sending. We have rule-based ticket, which means that if I'm a newbie and I'm half productive as a veteran, I will receive half of the tickets as this veteran. Okay, I can train, no problem at all. 2 weeks after, I'm full power. I can actually consider the agent's schedules. So if I'm working on the weekend and she's not, she won't receive leads that day. If I'm doing the outbounds or the inbounds, we can actually tackle these problems as well. If this, so this is the step after we launch it today, I'll also do this. I'm pretty confident it will work, but I can give you an update next week. I tested on Sandbox, it worked really well, but let's see if it doesn't break really easily. But this is like massive. If you don't remember, if you're not here last year, there was Daniel. He was assigning this. Daniel's full-time job last high season was assigning this, and he had to leave with the muscle project in both hands. Okay, he fucked up his right arm, and he really changed to the left, and he fucked it up. Okay, so when I actually tested this, I thought for Daniel, before he only knew. And I also, on that morning, I was quite scared because I would just replace half of the team lead's job, okay, of the day. I would just replace it. So now this means that team lead could train the one-on-ones, focus, get feedback, give feedback. So this is all aiming as more output with less, okay, or with the same. Last thing, we have an increasing team. We all know this is a topic. HR is pushing hard. So how would we maintain the knowledge? How could we do this work for everyone? So what we've been doing is like some stuff. So you see the playbook I sent by email the other day. This was like a great effort from everyone in the bookings team. Sofia and Joanna just put this together very fast. And then the marketing team was just ridiculously fast and available. And we also learned the process on doing stuff better for next time. So this is out. Newcomers are using it, and it's super useful. I've been training them for the past 2 days, and we actually go to the book and say, okay, this is there, check out the definition. This is the approach, don't worry, it's there. They take notes, so this is working. We have onboarding sessions with all the teams so that they are aware of where is bookings and what are you doing within the team. We have the buddy program, as you just seen now. We have tutorials and learning materials that I developed alongside with this new architecture. So whenever someone comes, that's it. This is how you work. You don't fuck up the process because the process will help you out actually. And they actually are onboarded much faster. We have training and coaching coming in. Luciana is just massively powerful on these, training the team leads as well. And people coming in just to listen calls and quality assurance will come in. So I think the team is getting like ridiculously powerful. It's going to be crazy. So I have no doubt that targets will not be a big problem on the booking side. Just to finish, I wanted to show you this. This is Rodolfo's SMS to his landlord. And I call it the Rodolfo approach, which is like everyone can actually help out. So I've mentioned a lot of people, but you can actually help out a lot in very random ways. So what he's saying to the landlord, this was like last month, he's saying, look, I'm going to do a one booking month. Next month I'll do other, and so on and so on. And you better accept it. Because just for you, like it's just the same, the commission is the same, and I'm helping out with targets here. So actually, this was when we were pushing for the targets last month. He was doing bookings, but he was sending out these to the landlord, and he placed a 1 month booking forever, just to help out on the targets. Yeah, if you have any doubts.